Alright, let's be real. The world feels like it's running on fumes right now. Supply chains are still a mess. Tariffs are making headlines every other week. And somehow buying a car has turned into a geopolitical event. But while everyone else is playing defense, Tesla is quietly and not so quietly making moves that could change the game entirely. We're going to break all of many news down today. Because this week, Tesla dropped a pile of news that, on the surface, looks like a bunch of separate stories, a factory here, a regulatory probe there, a disassembled Model Y in a showroom in China. But when you line them up side by side, they start to look less like random updates and more like the blueprint for something much bigger, something that rhymes with Model 2. Before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome to autogearshift, the channel that doesn't just read you the press release. We dig into what it means, why it matters, and what Tesla isn't saying out loud. We're the friend who actually did the research before showing up to the conversation. Subscribe, ring the bell, and let's get into it. How is Tesla showing you a disassembled Model Y to tell you something about a $25,000 car? Here's something you don't see from Ford, GM, or Toyota, a fully disassembled version of their best-selling vehicle sitting in a public showroom. Every wire exposed, every weld visible, basically daring you to find a flaw. Tesla did exactly that this week. A deconstructed Model Y showed up in a studio display in China, and similar setups have been spotted at delivery centers in Luxembourg. Strip away the marketing spin, and what you're actually looking at is a company that's confident enough in its engineering to let the bones speak for themselves, and the bones are genuinely impressive. The centerpiece of the whole display is Tesla's gigacasting technology. Instead of welding together dozens of stamped metal pieces to form a car's frame the way every traditional automaker does, Tesla uses a machine called the gigapress to cast the entire front and rear sections of the vehicle as single, massive pieces of aluminum. The result is a structure with dramatically fewer joints, fewer potential failure points, and a significantly lighter overall weight. Studies have backed this up. Tesla vehicles consistently rank among the lowest cost-to-maintain cars on the market, and gigacasting is a big reason why. Now here's where it connects to something bigger. Tesla has already confirmed that the same gigacasting process, along with an evolved version they call the unboxed method, will form the manufacturing foundation for the Cybercab and all future vehicles in the lineup. The unboxed method essentially builds different sections of the car simultaneously and snaps them together at the end, rather than moving one car body down a sequential assembly line. That cuts production time and cost significantly. When you're trying to build a car that sells for around $25,000 and still turns a profit, shaving cost at the factory level isn't a nice-to-have, it's the whole strategy. A last-minute charge port and a wheelchair seat. What is Tesla's Cybercab actually built? For Tesla, is targeting mass production of the Cybercab at Gigafactory Texas starting next month, April 2026. And the latest. Production units are telling us a lot about where the company's head is at right now. Two details in particular stand out, and neither one is the flashy butterfly door. First, the charge port. Tesla has spent years teasing that the Cybercab would charge exclusively through wireless induction, no plug, no port, fully autonomous from curb to charger. That vision hasn't been abandoned, but it's clearly been pushed back. Recent production units show a fully redesigned physical charge port cleaner integration, a full surround gasket, flexible housing, and no motorized flap likely to keep replacement costs low. Tesla recently won FCC approval for the ultra-wideband technology needed for wireless charging, so the capability is coming. But the Cybercab is launching with a native NACS plug-in port first, and wireless charging becomes an over-the-air or hardware upgrade down the line. This is a pragmatic call. Wireless charging infrastructure doesn't exist at scale yet, and Tesla isn't going to delay a vehicle over a feature the world isn't ready for. Second detail, and this one is quietly significant, the Cybercab's seat height was deliberately built to match standard wheelchair dimensions. Tesla's Cybercab engineering lead confirmed this directly, noting that the butterfly doors combined with the seat height allow a wheelchair to be parked parallel to the cabin seat with enough room to transfer between the two. For a robo-taxi that's supposed to serve everyone in a city, this isn't a footnote, it's a core design requirement. A vehicle with no driver, no human assistance, needs to be independently accessible. Beyond those 2 points, production units are also showing larger front-facing cameras, an interior trunk camera to flag forgotten items, ambient cabin lighting, and a high-pressure washer system on every single external camera, a level of hardware redundancy you won't find on any consumer Tesla today. The entire cabin is controlled through a 21-inch touchscreen, with physical buttons reserved only for doors, windows, and a hazard button that doubles as an emergency stop. Tesla is building its own chip factory. When does that make your next car cheaper? A few days ago, Elon Musk announced the Terafab project, Tesla's plan to build its own semiconductor fabrication facility in Austin, Texas. And within days of that announcement, job listings were already live. Tesla is hunting for a technical program manager in infrastructure semiconductors, specifically someone who can own the entire process from factory design and construction through production ramp and readiness, and who has managed over $100 million in capital expenditures before. This is not a concept. This is a hiring sprint. To understand why this matters, you need to know where Tesla's chips come from right now. The AI4 chip, which powers FSD in every mainstream Tesla on the road today, is manufactured by Samsung. The next generation, AI5, is already designed and will be produced jointly by TSMC and Samsung, with mass production targeted for mid-2027. After that, Tesla has already signed a major deal with Samsung to build AI6 chips in US-based fabs. The Terafab is the step after all of that, the end game where Tesla controls its own lithography, its own etching, its own deposition processes, and ultimately its own chip roadmap without depending on any outside partner. Building a chip fab is, without exaggeration, one of the hardest manufacturing challenges humans have ever attempted. The tolerances involved are almost incomprehensible. Even minor vibrations from a highway nearby can destroy an entire production run. Geographic placement, facility design, cleanroom engineering, utility planning, all of it has to be perfect before a single chip gets made. Tesla is essentially trying to do for silicon what it already did for battery cells when it built the 4680 production line. The long-game connection to Model 2 is direct. Chip supply has been identified by Musk as the single biggest bottleneck for scaling both FSD and the Optimus humanoid robot. A car like Model 2, priced aggressively for the mass market, needs an FSD chip that costs Tesla as little as possible to produce. Right now, every chip Tesla puts in a car is a chip it had to negotiate for, wait for, and pay a margin on to someone else. Terafab changes that math entirely, and when it does, that savings shows up somewhere in the bill of materials for every vehicle Tesla builds. Tesla just locked in $4.3 billion in American batteries. Is this what makes Model 2 possible? This one landed during the Indo-Pacific Energy Security Summit, which is not where you'd normally expect a car company to make headlines, but here we are. The U.S. Department of the Interior confirmed a $4.3 billion agreement between Tesla and LG Energy Solution to build a lithium iron phosphate prismatic battery cell factory in Lansing, Michigan. With production starting in 2027, the cells coming out of that facility are earmarked specifically for Tesla's Megapack 3 energy storage systems, assembled in Houston. The scale is significant: 50 gigawatt-hours of annual capacity out of Lansing alone. Add that to Tesla's existing LFP cell plant in Sparks, Nevada, and pair it with the lithium refinery already operating in Corpus Christi, Texas, and you start to see a domestic supply chain that very few companies on Earth can match. No CATL, no BYD, no exposure to Chinese export restrictions, tariffs, or the kind of geopolitical curveballs that have been hitting the industry hard over the past 2 years. Now, the Megapack 3 itself is worth understanding here. It's a complete ground-up redesign of Tesla's flagship grid storage unit, 5 megawatt-hours of usable energy per unit. A simplified thermal system based on an enhanced Model Y heat pump, and 78% fewer internal connections compared to its predecessor. Fewer connections means fewer things that can break, which matters enormously when you're deploying these at utility scale. Tesla is also rolling out the Megablock platform alongside it, a plug-and-play installation system that cuts construction costs by roughly $1 out of every $2.50 spent and gets a full gigawatt-hour. System commissioned in just 20 business days. That's enough capacity to power 400,000 homes. Online, in under a month. Why does any of this matter for Model 2? Because LFP chemistry is the battery story for affordable EVs. It doesn't carry the energy density of the nickel-based cells in a Model S or a Plaid, but for a commuter car priced under $30,000. Energy density is not the primary concern cost. Longevity and safety are. LFP cells can handle over 10,000 charge cycles without significant degradation. They carry virtually zero thermal runaway risk. And critically, they don't use cobalt, one of the most expensive and ethically complicated materials in the EV supply chain. When you're trying to build a car that competes with a Toyota Corolla on price, every dollar saved on chemistry is a dollar that can go toward margin, features, or a lower sticker price. The Michigan factory doesn't just supply megapacks. It positions Tesla to bring that same low-cost, high-durability chemistry into the next vehicle lineup, including whatever Model 2 ends up being called when it finally ships. That's the full picture for this week, and when you line it all up, it's hard not to see where this is heading. Model 2, whatever name it eventually ships under, is the vehicle where all of that comes together at a price point that actually changes the mass market. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Tesla can realistically hit a $25,000 price tag with everything going on right now? Tariffs, inflation, supply chain pressure. If this video helped you connect the dots, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this kind of deep dive content is worth pushing out. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is a great time. We're closing in on 29,999 subscribers, and every single one matters. Subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.